Welcome to Dreadvolt. Today we will compare two iconic amplifiers which are Soldano SuperLead Overdrive 100 and Marshall JCM800. When it comes to the history of the equipment, I am no expert, but simply I can say if you ever listened a record from 80s or early 90s, probably you heard these amplifiers a lot. And today we will compare them. Our first amplifier is Marshall JCM800 and its 2210 version. And the history of this amplifier goes back to the early 70s. And on this model we have an additional boost section and a reverb. And we have 5 12AX7 tubes on the preamp section and 4 EL34 on the power section. And now let's talk about Soldano SuperLead 100. This amplifier introduced to the market in 1987 and it was a game changer for the music industry because simply we can say it's designed to be a better JCM800. At least the similarities and differences between these amplifiers give me this feel when I observe, when I compare them as together. And on the amplifier we have clean and crunch section with normal and overdrive section as well, and we have a bright knob, but in the comparison I won't open it. Also we have two gain controls with two master outputs as normal and overdrive. Also we have presence and depth, and when we observe these amplifiers together, I hope you can see what I see. They have the same vibe, they have the same feeling. The SLO-100 is a gnarly amplifier. I'm not saying JCM800 isn't chugging, but the characteristics of these amplifiers are quite different, and in the comparison video I want to demonstrate this situation. On the comparison, I want to demonstrate both of these amplifiers at their noon position at first, and then we will hear these amplifiers at their 666 settings. You know, everything is at 6 beside the volume. I will keep the volume of these amplifiers at 4, and then you will hear the amplifiers as dialed, and I dialed these amplifiers just how I like it. Also I boosted these amplifiers with a Maxon OD808 because I had to do it. You know, especially the JCM800 needs it when it comes to the metal sounds, and probably at the noon position and also at the 666 position you won't satisfied with the tones of the JCM800, because to get a metal sound, to get a chugging sound, you have to crank the gain knob of the JCM800. And I want to compare them with this approach because when the content creators are reviewing this amplifier, they are directly going into the metal zone, they are directly going into the cranked tones of these amplifiers. But I think getting a chugging metal sound from a JCM800 is quite hard, not because it's not an enough amplifier, but you really need to push the amplifier to its limits, and it's hard to handle for most of the people. At least for me, trying to get a good sound from a 5150 or a rectifier or an SLO is kinda easier compared to handle the loud volumes of the JCM800, because the dynamics, because the sound in the room, everything shifts, everything changes. Because of it, simply in this comparison I want to demonstrate them under the same settings. And now let's talk about our signal chain. In this video I used this Warmode Telecaster. It's a custom Telecaster and you can find its own review video in this very channel. And this thing has a mahogany body with maple neck. It has 22 frets with 25.5 inch scale. We have a Gotoh bridge with Seymour Duncan JB and 59. Also this thing is on E standard. Actually I also did this comparison with my custom V, which is on C standard tuning, but after listening to the tracks I thought C standard tuning isn't suitable to observe the characteristics of these amplifiers. Because of it you won't hear that. Also the signal of these amplifiers goes to my Mesa rectifier 4x12 cabinet, and we have a Shure SM57 which is placed as half cap and half con. And first we will hear the in-mix audio, and then we will hear the isolated dual tracks without any post-process besides limiting, and then we will hear the centered mono tracks also without any post-process. And I hope this video will give you some insight about the tones of JCM800 under the regular modern metal amplifier settings, because I think we already knew how to use a JCM800. At least there are thousands of videos of this amplifier, and simply I want to create something quite unique, and I hope this uniqueness will also beneficial for every one of us. And now let's start with the in-mix audio. say I hope you enjoyed the comparison, because it's not easy to enjoy without any chugging metal tones on the noon and 666 settings, but this is JCM800 and without cranking up the gain knob it's hard to get a chugging sound, and actually this is what I'm trying to explain in this comparison. And now let's hear them again as dual tracks without any post-process, and you will hear the differences even better this time. Welcome back again. I hope the video isn't starting to become a boring lecture instead of a fun content, but this is what it is. And now let's hear them again as centered mono tracks without any post-process. Perfect, that's the end of the video actually. I hope you enjoyed the comparison of these amplifiers under the same settings. I know the tones of JCM800, especially against SLO-100, aren't that metal and it's hard to follow. I know it. Please don't dislike the video just because of it. It was the very reason of this comparison, to observe these differences, and I hope it will give you some insight if you are trying to pick one of these amplifiers. But also don't worry if you already didn't watch the JCM800 review of mine. Last week I reviewed this amplifier and you can simply find that video as well, and in that video we pushed the amplifier to its limits. We played the JCM800 as it should be, but this was the JCM800 under the noon and 666 settings against an SLO-100, which is another iconic amplifier. And that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the content. I think it feels like a joke at this moment, but I hope you enjoyed to observe the differences. Anyway, I'm saying the same thing again and again. And if you enjoyed, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to leave your opinions in the comment section. Those are really important for me, for the growth of this channel. Till the next video, see ya.